Welcome back to another edition of 5 for Friday here on TarHeelIllustrated.com. This is THI publisher Andrew Jones, and this week's topic is Duke at Carolina, the battle for the Victory Bell, 4 p.m. Saturday in Kenan Stadium. And this is a big game for a lot of reasons for the Tar Heels, and in this edition we're going to talk about those reasons. And we'll trickle it down because it begins with the Coastal Division. The Tar Heels are 3-4 overall and 2-2 in the Coastal or in the ACC, but they're still in the Coastal hunt. In fact, with Duke coming in this weekend and Virginia coming in the week before that, and then a trip to Pittsburgh, and ultimately the Heels close out the conference schedule at NC State. If they win out, they're going to at least be in a tie for the Coastal Division. There'll be all kinds of tiebreakers, obviously, that will probably come into play given what Virginia and perhaps Pittsburgh do. But the Tar Heels can still sort of control an element of their own destiny in the Coastal Division race. But if they lose to Duke, I think it's pretty safe to say they're out. They won't have a chance to represent the Coastal in the ACC Championship game against Clemson in Charlotte in early December. So this is a big game in that respect. But I think it's big in a different way as well. The Heels need to get bowl eligible. The Coastal's a great ambition, but they need to become bowl eligible. They're only 3-4. They've got 5 games left. One of them is against FCS Mercer. Let's toss that one aside. Heels will have no problem winning that one. They still need to find 2 more wins against the likes of Duke and Virginia at home the next 2 weeks, and then at Pitt on a Thursday night, close the regular season at NC State, and it's possible the Wolfpack could be playing for a 6 win and a chance to go to a bowl. So if the Tar Heels don't beat Duke, they then have to win 2 of those last 3, which Virginia, at Pitt, at NC State. That'll be extremely difficult for this team. So you got to take care of business at home this week against a Duke team that's probably fairly even with the Tar Heels. Got to force turnovers. Duke had 5 last week. Carolina had none, forced 2 in Blacksburg. Still didn't get the win. If they do something similar like that again this weekend, I think that they'll get the win as well. Plus, the Tar Heels just need to win. They started out 2-0. They've lost 4 of their last 5. They have 1 win since September 8th. For all the competitiveness, for all the close games, for all the growth that we've seen, they've still won once in a month and a half. This team needs to taste victory. Then you consider the fact that Carolina's lost 3 straight to Duke, 3 straight to NC State, their last 3 to East Carolina, and earlier this year they lost to Wake and they lost to App State. That means those 5 in-school FBS schools all have winning streaks of some kind against the Tar Heels. The only other FBS school in the state, Charlotte, Carolina's never played. They get to face them in a couple of years. So this team, in order to achieve Mac Brown's mission of becoming the dominant program in the state, you got to start beating teams in the state. It will show up more on the recruiting trail as well if they do, and that's the other part of this. Carolina's recruiting has been excellent. Picking up Desmond Evans last week, they've got 3 of the top 5 kids in the state, 5 of the top 11. If they can flip Trenton Simpson, they'll become the first program to get 4 of the top 5 kids in the state in a single class. Now that's still an if, but you know what? Win this game this weekend, beat NC State in a couple of weeks, and begin to start changing that tide. Check those many boxes that Mac Brown inherited when he took this job 11 months ago. But it starts with this weekend defeating the Blue Devils. The Carolinas lost 5 of 7 to Duke. Larry Fedora went 2-5 against Duke. That trend must end, and it must begin ending this weekend. And you can start taking care of everybody else. Plus, there's the Victory Bell. These guys love winning over the Victory Bell. A couple of years ago, I think it was 2014 on a Thursday night, the Tar Heels got back to Bell going to Duke. They had a big win. Marquise Williams was amazing that night. And the Tar Heels spray painted the thing. They got spray paint on the track at Duke, spray paint in the locker room and all that. And there was a big story about that. They want to get that Victory Bell back. They want to spray that thing on the field because it'll be home. I'm sure Carolina people probably, Bubba Cunningham will probably be okay if they spray paint that thing on the field. They want their cheerleaders to run out of the tunnel, lead them onto the field for the next year with that Victory Bell. That's an important part of this rivalry as well, and the Tar Heels can get it back if they defeat Duke. So a lot on the line. Coastal Division viability, getting off the schneid against Duke, getting bowl eligible, one step closer to bowl eligible, and getting back to Victory Bell. Plenty at stake in this weekend's rivalry of Duke at Carolina. Don't forget to click like on this video, subscribe to this channel here on YouTube, and if you're not familiar with our site, go to THIillustrated.com and check out all of our coverage, not just on the football heels, but the basketball heels and plenty of recruiting stuff. I'm Andrew Jones. You're watching THIillustrated.com.